Okay, that was episode 16 of Death Note. I am full of so many different feelings.
Does this, I don't know. Does this make L think that maybe there's someone controlling Light and Misa's actions and that now they've lost their memories? They were just pawns?
Maybe. I think that that's definitely a possibility. I feel for L. If in that situation you're that smart, you're that good at deductive reasoning, being able to see somebody's like body language, and then it switches on a dime, and both of these people are acting completely different and innocent, and like
it's like both people went from completely acting guilty with like without shadow of a doubt,
yeah,
to being completely no way that they're guilty in how they're acting.
Do you think L feels some sort of guilt towards Light?
He might. I mean, he probably feels in his head like, if I'm wrong, this is pretty messed up.
I think that he might, but then he's like, oh, but I did promise Light that, you know,
yeah,
I'd
I
keep
mean,
him in
like,
here.
Light agreed to this. L agreed to this. They all agreed to this.
So, am I right in assuming Light was able to predict and prognosticate his own actions for when he didn't know or have any recollection
He probably
of the Death
thought
Note?
to himself, how would I feel
Yeah.
if I was locked up for something that I didn't do in solitary confinement?
So
You'd be pretty freaking like, I didn't do it, freaking out.
So if you write a list of all these people in the Death Note and say they're going to die in 2 weeks, and then relinquish the Death Note, those deaths will still happen?
I guess. I'm unsure if he originally wrote them or if he told Ryuk to do it and Ryuk agreed to do this.
I don't know if Ryuk would do it. That's my only thing.
I feel like Ryuk would, because he'd find that it'd be more interesting if Light gets out of this, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like he might, especially if Light was like, I'll give you all the apples you ever want kind of thing. So I'm unsure if he wrote them thinking that he'd be locked up for 2 weeks or so, and thinking that L wouldn't tell him about the deaths. So he might have seen it as like L's, like, this is a move to test kind of L and L's actions regarding him suspecting Light anymore with new circumstances.
The storyboarding on this episode, holy shit, man. Like, there were so many cool scenes. Look, like, one of my favorite ones is L looking, like, you could see his reflection into his tea, and he was speaking his thoughts in the reflection. That was great. The drawing on Light when he snapped, like, when he turned and forgot.
He got, like, almost like a baby face.
I thought it was like Ash Ketchum for a second. It was so innocent.
He does look
and pure.
a lot younger, almost. It's like his character aged down back to when he was in high school or something. It was so odd seeing his eyes just almost get bigger and kind of younger looking.
Yeah.
But can we even talk about Chief Yagami? Like, as a character in this show, his sense of accountability, responsibility, justice, knowing himself enough to, as a parent and also as a police officer, still taking into account that he doesn't want to ruin the investigation or make it so, you know, there's some, like, cause to question things because of his presence there. He is so freaking amazing for this really hard decision that he made to get locked up. Obviously, he basically threatened, something bad will happen if you don't. But I think that was purely him being aware that if he keeps hearing about his son possibly being Kira, or his son ends up actually being Kira, he doesn't know what he will do, because that will fill him with so much grief and anger, and he doesn't know what to do with those emotions. He is scared for himself and others when that possibility happens.
It's so real. It's so true. Like, all of his feeling. It feels like he's a real person in this world, this life. He's so outstandingly written, and the way that they use him and when he comes into the conversation and when he doesn't is so realistic and so
Elle brought up
perfect.
that he was the one taking it the hardest
out
of the three. Like, obviously, as the parent, as the one that is completely guilty in this whole scenario, obviously now both Misa and Light are taking it slightly differently than before, but still, he's the one that's like, his hair's grown out, he's like freaking out, he's like quick to, you can tell he's having it rough in there, even though he's in a nicer situation than the other two are. Because he's having to sit there with the knowledge, basically, that it kind of seems like his son is guilty. More than kind of seems.
Okay, I think... Oh, I know. Light got me at first, like, when he came in. Like, I was definitely... You
thought maybe he already relinquished?
Yeah, like, definitely at first, because he was doing such, like, a good act. But I'm more curious than anything to see what Light's feelings towards Misa are going to be. Because...
After all of this?
No, like right now. He has no memory of the Death Note. We obviously know Misa still is like, oh, Light, my boyfriend,
He probably thinks of her purely as a girl that likes him. I don't know what he would feel for. He probably, as himself, like without the Death Note knowledge, would probably be like, she's really pretty. She wants to date me?
Yeah.
But he might have more affection or favor towards her now that the Death Note is gone.
What's the plan here going forward? Like, obviously, convince them that you're not Kira, but how do you get the Death Note again? You buried it. Do you have coordinates? Why are you going to go there? Like,
we don't know what his entire step-by-step plan was. Like, we don't know. All we knew was this step. The step that is happening right now. We weren't told by Light beforehand how he gets out of this actual situation. When does Ryuk come back in? We don't know. He didn't tell us. This is all going to be surprise for all of us. Obviously not the people that have watched this before. But like us and the characters in the show.
I am so worried for Detective Yagami. He like already had like a heart attack or something from the stress that he was being put under. Like,
I am going to be scared if this naturally kills him because of the stress. Just the idea that, and he even said, like, he felt bad for feeling glad that people had died because it could mean that his son isn't a killer. Jesus. And I'm like, dang, this is such, like, a real, well-written parental character.
I feel like the author of this show or the story has to be like some crazy psychologist who knows like human behavior and emotions more than anybody else.
I wonder if there are criminal studies
major
like, or something.
It's so well done. One of the other officers had a line, I don't know if it was Aizawa or not, but like the family or the parents of the criminals being accused sometimes have it harder than the criminals themselves based off like their disbelief.
Which I think is like, we could totally understand that to be true.
Holy hell. Dude, Light's acting of being so different, that really got me.
He's subjecting himself to basically unknowing torture. Why am I here? I didn't do anything. He knew that whatever he was going to put himself through something terrifying. And Misa's being put through something terrifying right now, too. She literally probably believes that she's still tied up by a stalker because she's like, there's no way I'm related to Kira. Like, obviously, this is just a stalker's fantasy.
Yeah, at first, I had the thought, like, right when she said stalker, I was like, no way that she did not just go back to the memory of right before Jealous killed the one stalker, and she still thinks that stalker's the one who took her. But obviously that's not the case. But that would have been fucking nuts.
She's definitely, I mean, she even basically said that, like, she's obviously had multiple stalkers. She's had multiple people who have done really crazy, creepy stuff to her. Mm-hmm. One almost violent. So she's handling it. It's sad how well she is handling this. Yeah. Because obviously it shows you that she's conditioned to have to try to act to be strong in these situations so that they don't kill her. And like, I'll kiss you on the cheek. Like, she has to act. And she's conditioned herself to be this way in case a stalker gets too close. And it's honestly really sad to have to see her go through that. Yeah. Knowing now that she doesn't have any memories of what she did. And it's almost just like the actual Misa, the before the Death Note Misa, is just having to suffer again and be scared again and have to put on a face so that a stalker won't kill her or won't do unthinkable things to her just to appease them so they'll let her go. It's honestly really sad to see that.
Yeah, I mean, she did kill people who were innocent.
Yes.
But I get what you're saying, for sure. Because in her memory, she didn't, you know?
But, and also in her memory, Kira isn't necessarily wholly a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he killed the people that killed her parents.
Oh my god, the morality of the show, dude. What's it gonna take? Like, is it just gonna be 6 months later, and then Elle's like, alright, I'm letting you out of jail?
I don't know what amount of time could convince Elle that he should let him go.
Because I don't think there's any action.
I don't know if there's an action that could happen. I am definitely not smart enough to figure out what action in the real world or action of light could happen for Elle to be like, because Elle doesn't want to waste what's already happened. He's not going to like squander what's already happened. It would have to be someone else getting caught as Kira or something.
But there are no other real suspects, you know? Like, it would have to be that the people who are dying now are by Light's hands, and he wrote them 2 weeks prior, and he also wrote in of a criminal doing things before they inevitably died that would suggest that they are Kira, you know?
I have no freaking clue. I'm like, is Ryuk supposed to give the death note to someone that they're gonna pin it on? Does Light plan to like frame someone? It's hurting my brain trying to think of what they're going to do.
Part of me just doesn't want to think too much about it so I can just purely enjoy the story. Mm-hmm. I love theorizing here and there, like based off of what we have. But at the moment, we don't have much
right now of what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
because we don't know Light's plan. We don't.
I hope that Ryuk got his apples. He seemed like he was having a tough time.
He was suffering more than any of them.
All right, that's all I have.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.
He's not gonna like squander what's already happened. He's not gonna like squander what's already happened. Squander what's already happened.
Squander what's already happened.